Hi, I'm Rusty Gailey, Worship Director here at Faith Church. This season of Lent, we've been talking about a new way to live. And I think new things are great. That new car with that new car smell. And then newly fallen snow. Love it. Or a new pair of boots. But newness doesn't always come with comfort. You know, that new car, it probably has gadgets and devices that you're not used to. So you got to learn them. At some point, somebody's got to shovel that snow. And those boots, well, you probably got to break them in before it's a comfortable walk. I think our spiritual lives are that way as well. This newness in Christ, this new way to live, I think it takes some getting used to. Jesus talks to us in Matthew chapter 5, starting in verse 43, and he says, "You've heard that the law says, love your neighbor and hate your enemies. But I say, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you." You see, Jesus gives us a taste here of the old way of doing things, and it's actually not a bad way to go necessarily. You know, we can read that, love your neighbor and hate your enemy, and we can feel comfortable with that way of living. It's justifiable. It makes sense. But Jesus introduces a new way to live here by telling us to love our enemies, to pray for those who persecute us. That's a pair of boots I'm going to need to break in. I don't know if I've really had any enemies in my life. And I don't think that I'm persecuted very often. And even then, it's in fairly subtle ways compared to many people in this world. It seems like the bar is pretty low for me to love people. In this passage, Jesus goes on to say that if you love only those who love you, what reward is there for that? If you're kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? Even pagans do that. And then he says, but you are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. I think Jesus is emphasizing the point for us here that to live in this new way, we are to constantly be loving people. I don't think my lack of enemies gets me out of this responsibility. In fact, I think my lack of seeing others around me as an opportunity to be loving, well, that's where it may start for me. The teller behind the counter or at the drive-thru window, the mailman, the jogger or the cyclist passing me on the pathway. These people could remain faceless objects that enter my line of sight but are never really seen. I mean, it's not like I'm friends with them. But Jesus asked me, how are you different from anyone else? And I have to believe he makes a good point. And if I never take my boots out into the world, they never get broken in. And I'm never comfortable with his new way. I want to try to be better about loving people who aren't just on my favorites list. I'm going to start by praying for my eyes to be open to others around me. And I'm going to try to be committed to taking advantage of the opportunities that I'm given to love people. I'm not sure what it means for you to live in this new way, but I think it starts with trying on those boots. Have a great day.